Now, next up, we have solutions that optimize the clinical trial process. So, in the red corner, an Austro-Hungarian startup, please give it up for the Senior Manager and Compliance Officer of HealCloud, Iona Stupariu. Now in the blue corner, from Hungary, make some noise for the founder and CEO of On Compass Medicine, István Peták. Wow, I think you brought your fan club with you as well. I'm going to have another drink for that. So guys, let's get our engine started. Let's down this. Ákos. Gluten-free pálinka, come on. It's actually pretty great. So, yesterday you actually told me that you didn't like pálinka, so that's the reason why I brought gluten-free pálinka, so I'll hook you up my friend Ákos in the back there. Now, yesterday we met, and so you're from Transylvania.
Yes, that's correct.
But you're in an Austro-Hungarian company,
yes,
and you have an Italian temperament.
We'll see.
Okay. And I promised I wouldn't make any vampire jokes, but you came in at the red corner, so that's kind of wishy-washy.
I think it was on purpose.
Okay. So I hope that you guys are pumped like a TV Mozzi, teddy bear. Do you know what the #1 fear of people is?
Public speech, but it shouldn't be. It should be
public
cancer.
speaking. He broke my joke. Thanks, ma'am. Number
First
2
round.
is losing your smartphone. That's number 2. Isn't that crazy how the world has changed? Anyway, so let's bring it in. Let's have a little fist bump. Not a belly bump, because that would have been really cool, but... So, hook us up. You have 1 minute. What do you do?
Thank you. It takes more than 10 years to get a new drug on the market. And one of the main reasons why it takes so long is that it's very hard to find the right patients with the right features to test the new drug on. Moreover, it's very hard to find the necessary data which is up to date so that researchers can use that data in the research they conduct. Nowadays, most such data is collected manually by humans, which means data which is collected is insufficient, incorrect, and very often it gets very easily outdated. We at HealCloud, we target this exact systemic challenge. We use a cloud-based platform to anonymize data which is already collected in all hospitals across the world through their internal data management softwares. What we do is that we sort this data and then we make research faster.
István, what do you do on Thursdays when you're not in a boxing ring?
I am a cancer researcher on Tuesday, on Monday, and every day. And my battle is to find the right targeted therapy for every cancer patient. And today, we already know that mutations in only 600 genes can cause cancer. And our solution is Gabriel, the first medical software that we can use to match the right targeted therapies to each of these cancer genes in every single cancer patient. And this also means that instead of 600 separate clinical trials with drugs against these 600 cancer genes, we only need one clinical trial, the clinical trial of Gabriel. I'm here today to ask your support to win this battle against cancer. Thank you.
So solving such a huge challenge, you must have a very strong team. Tell us about your team a little bit.
Luckily, I have a fantastic team of over 50, including scientists, extremely talented scientists, 9 with PhDs, 5 medical doctors, genetic counselors from Berkeley University, and also myself. I worked both in Budapest in the pediatric oncology department, but also in St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. I brought back many talented young scientists I'm very proud of, but we are ready to work together in any talented young scientists from all around the world. Thank you.
So you guys are both using algorithms, but what do you do when your machines misbehave? Do you tell their motherboard?
Is this a joke?
Okay. Yes, that was a joke. Did anyone get that joke? Okay. So who are your people that are telling your machines how to behave?
We have an international, highly experienced team of people specialized each in their respective fields. Our chairman has spent a career in the pharmaceutical industry. He's the former vice president for emerging markets of Eli Lilly, having supervised over 3,000 people in 65 countries. Our CEO, a Harvard graduate, is a former investment banker, technology investment banker, and a venture capitalist. Our medical director has been specializing for over 20 years in clinical trials management. Moreover, we have a privacy officer, a legal compliance officer, and a director of engineering who supervises a fantastic team of developers.
So Istvan, when were you founded?
In the year of the Human Genome Project. That was the fantastic year to start a company.
So tell me what you guys have done since then.
And ever since, we have developed several innovations to help patients to access the wonders of precision oncology. But now we are focusing on our latest invention, this medical software, Gabriel. And just a few weeks ago, we received the Best Abstract Award of the American Society of Clinical Oncology at the Conference of Breakthrough Innovations in Oncology conference in Bangkok. Tomorrow, I will fly right to London to present our solution to the European Society of Medical Oncology. We are already using the system to help thousands of patients, and we are working with the best cancer centers in the world.
Are you going to take that punch?
I will try to
Hit us.
reply. Up to date, we have raised over 3.5 million euros in venture capital and strategic funding. At this point, we already have one huge client. We are working with one of the top 3 clinical research organizations in the world to deploy our solution at 12 oncology centers in Europe, in 5 countries in Europe, major countries. We already have a monthly recurring revenue of 50,000 euros. And moreover, recently, we have been named one of the top 60 startups at the World Web Summit in Lisbon, the largest annual conference in tech in the world with over 60,000 attendees.
Now stay up here. We're going to stick with you. Now I want you to be more Wall Street than Sesame Street. And you're talking about cash, so you're already making cash. So for a market and business model, tell us a little bit more about how you make money.
Of course, the real-world evidence market is a $22 billion market. In Europe, we have 33% of this market share. We want to get 5% of this market, and we are confident that we can get in 5 years to this 5% of the market share. But how do we get the money? We use a license fee model. We charge 25,000 euros per site, per installation, per month, and then we also charge 25% of the data fees. Basically, we only need to sell 2,000 licenses.
Okay. So you've raised 3.5 million euros. You're making 500K per year. What do you have to say to that?
Okay. Billions of dollars are spent for clinical trials every year. Only Pfizer spends $4 billion every year to develop new drugs. We believe that with our solution, we can radically reduce this by skipping and eliminating unnecessary phases of clinical trials to accelerate the access to new drugs. On the other side, we would like to make Gabriel, our solution, accessible to all cancer patients in the world by licensing our software to clinics and hospitals everywhere. Thank you.
Okay. So, we know that there will be more startupologists, not just cardiologists. So how are you going to help Pfizer startupize to monetize?
Okay, let me explain. With each day of delay in pharmaceutical trials, a company loses between 600,000 euros and 8 million euros, and that's just one day. We at HealCloud, we can help you avoid losing that time for any disease, not just cancer, for any type of research. Plus, we buy time for patients who are suffering all over the world. So hear us out, Pfizer. What we have to tell you. We can let you buy more time, both for you and for patients worldwide. Invest in us, buy our license, and help us spread this software all over the world.
So she's in the red corner, but both of you are in the black. So tell us, why are you worth every penny to Pfizer?
By finding the right patient to the right drug, we can reduce significantly the risk of failure. Today, only 12% of clinical trials are eventually successful from every drug developed from the preclinical phase. So we think that we can help achieve Pfizer's goal to bring more medicine faster to patients. On the other hand, we ask Pfizer's help to develop our tool and bring it to the global world of patients and hospitals. Thank you.
Okay. Come in. Let's have a final fizz bump. This is the final round, freestyle. So, I shall be terribly conservative and start with the ladies. So, why are you better, or why is he worse than you?
I'll say one reason why we are better, one reason why they're worse. First, we are 100% GDPR compliant. This is the highest standard for privacy in the world. None of our competitors, mostly US-based, qualify for that standard. That's a huge advantage for our software, which works with patients' data. Your software is great. What you do, guys, is great. But A, it's dependent on the data that our software can provide. And B, you only target cancer. We can help every type of research for every disease. You may have your Gabriel, but the Gabriel needs its data to fly and become an archangel.
So I told you she had an Italian temperament. What say you, dear sir, to these challenges?
Yes. So me too, I very like your solution. As a cancer researcher, I embrace any new development which can help find patients for clinical trials, and I'm ready to work with you together. But I think in case of cancer, you just mentioned, we need a much more radical breakthrough solution to really break the code of cancer and bring medicine to cancer patients. Thank you.
Let's come forward. So, jury, what did you think about those punches? Har Jung-Sot.
Quite a feisty fight there. Really enjoyed it. Just one question to both of you. If you were to get an investment, what is the first thing that you would use it for? What would you spend it on?
Well, sorry. First of all, how much investment are we talking about? This is a business here, okay? Milk them for the money.
For instance, for 5% of stake in the company, let's say 1 million euros. That's his question, not yours.
What would you use that for?
We would use the money to hire more developers because we need more and better people so that we can improve our software. And then we would invest in product marketing to get to as many companies in the world, clinical research organizations, pharma companies, those that can help us take the software to hospitals in the world.
We already had our first round of investment, and we are looking for the second round around 10 million euros. And the first thing we would like to do is to go to FDA to discuss how digital therapeutics, like our software, can be developed and registered, and to make the roadmap of development. And we would like to work with an investor or a corporate investor to be a partner in a partnership to develop this tool until the end. Meanwhile, this tool can be already used as a decision support software, and we are already making revenue, actually 3.5 million euro a year, and we have a 30% growth rate already. But we think if we could further develop the tool to become a class 2 or class 3 medical device, the value of the tool would increase incrementally.
So you've raised 3.5 million, and they're making that much every year. That's an undercut.
Much more advanced company.
Next question.
Sorry, but how much was the first round you received?
It was a first seed of 500,000.
What a fight. I think you both deserve more palinka, first of all. And felt to me like George Fraser versus Muhammad Ali. Fantastic pitches, and I think I like it because you both address a very, very important market for all of us. And my question is to both of you, who are your competitors and how do you compete against them? Why are you 10 times or 100 times better than existing solutions?
So there are several softwares which can interpret data generated by molecular diagnostic methods, but those softwares, and both public and also private softwares, can only list the matching drugs, but we are the first who can really prioritize treatment options. It's like imagine Google by listing your hits by alphabetical order and not in a logical order. So we are the first who can really prioritize these treatment options and really identify the right drug. So I think there are only few startups who can be our future competitors, we are aware of, but pretty much our first task is just to explain to the medical community the need and the utility of such tool, and this is why we are first presenting it to the medical conferences.
Our software is unique in that it targets 3 different markets at the same time. The real-world evidence market, which is a $22 billion market in itself. The observational clinical trial studies, which is a $20 billion, and the data analytics one, which is a $10 billion in this field. We target all 3 of those. Our competitors are mostly US-based companies that either target only cancer or are not compliant with the high-level standards of privacy and medical regulations in Europe. So basically, I think we are better than all our competitors, of course.
Take my money.
Very simple question. So how can your solution can help a physician in a clinic who is about to enroll a patient into the study? It's a question to both of you.
Fight it out. Fight it out.
So our tool is linked to a clinical trial calculator, which actually matches the patient to ongoing clinical trials. But in addition, we help the clinician to make the ethical decision. We can show them that whether that compound is really worth to give that patient. And this is an extra intention to the doctor to make the decision to even send this patient to another clinical center. Typically, patients are only enrolled if the clinical trial site is at the hospital where he or she is treated. But if you can convince doctors that the patient would benefit from being in that clinical trial, we can convince them to recommend the patient to travel and participate in clinical trials in other centers to accelerate clinical trials also this way.
First of all, we help find patients, which is a huge problem now, right? Because patients, oftentimes, they just don't have access to clinical trials. And we help them have this chance to get a treatment for their diseases. Second of all, because we shorten the duration of trials and because it's much better organized with the data that we provide, it's a much better and more convenient and a faster experience overall for the patient. So all in all, we think through our solution, we make trials cheaper and faster, which directly reflects on the quality of the experience that the patient has to go through during the trials.
And one quick final question from the jury. Anyone? Okay. No questions? Okay. So, dear audience, who believes that Little Red Riding Hood should win? Let's make some noise. Now, what you have at your advantage is that the noodles are at least red. What about the blue corner? So now we're going to have the jury deliberate, but the woman who has my ear is telling, are you telling me? You're not telling me. Okay, everything's fine. That's what I want to always hear, a woman saying to my soothing ears. We're good, guys? Okay, so I'm first going to announce the winners of this battle, and then what I'm going to have is I'm going to have Pfizer and the jury come up. But wait, sit tight. You're going to come up. Pfizer's going to kind of debrief us about these rounds. You three guys are going to stand behind us for the optics. And then we're going to announce the winner, or Pfizer CEO is going to announce the winner. We're going to have a nice little photo op. And then you guys are going to stand in the back, and then we're going to have the two first contestants come up. We'll do the same drill, and then we'll have a big photo, one big happy family.